Hello, more Meteor Memoirs. So this is going to be the recap from Packfire this year. I got a chance to hang out with Arashi, who showed me harmonics and toroids, and a lot of the stuff that actually comes out of the opposite direction reel started making a lot more sense because of that. So this video is going to start with talking about these opposite direction like op weaves and their associated caps, and why they work, why they don't, and then how to implement them. So the thing that started making the most sense was actually talking about tilt plane butterflies like this. So if you've ever come across deeper atomic theory, they start talking about a thing called mountain and valley. And what mountain and valley has to do with is the angle of the way that you're approaching the atomic. So if I'm looking at my atomic at the planes here, then this would be mountain, and then this one would be valley. But you would also get a valley that comes in up here, and you'd also get a mountain that's way down here. So you can also have a valley that's out this way and a mountain that's up here, just as much as you could have a mountain that's down here or a valley that's coming in down like this, right? So what that kind of translates to is if I imagine that my mountain's slope, because the mountain and the valley are the same thing, it's just a matter of perspective, right? If I imagine this mountain's slope is across here, and I try and get my butterfly, I'm setting this one up in like an all below, kind of all floor situation, palm up going this way onto my non-native side, then I can imagine that my mountain is over here. And what's fun about that is that I can turn my whole body around relative to that mountain, but its slope still stays the same, and I have the ability to kind of choose what slope I want to use, insofar as then being able to like shoot it the other direction and then set myself up coming down one slope of the mountain into the valley and then coming back up on the other side. So if there's a mountain over here, then there's a mountain over here, and I'm going to move through the valley by bouncing through the bottom point and then up the slope on the other side. So just like with forward and reverse, when you're learning your 3-beat weave, you want to learn the slope of this one over here and then bounce and learn what would be the slope of the other direction over here, like the reverse of this slope. So the thing that ends up coming through with that is that as you bounce through here, what'll happen is my thumb is going to start up on this side, and then as I bounce through, my thumb actually ends up being down. So the reverse half of this bounce is actually pinky lead. And so the weird part about that is trying to practice this pinky lead butterfly behind me as a means of trying to understand starting here and forward and then bouncing through and getting into this pinky lead one in the back. Now this one's very planar, it's using my walls, but being able to kind of initiate the angle of that made it a lot easier. Now with the timing of how I'm pushing through these, there's a linger moment on both sides and then a very strong swipe in order to initiate and pull the energy from both of the different heads through the motion. They collide all the time. This is not something I've totally got figured out yet, but I can definitely see that being able to have an awareness of how all of these different tilt plane caps could work into the rest of my spinning could go a really, really long way. So similarly, the wheel plane one is going to have a similar tilt plane, where instead of having my valley like this, I'm actually going to take that 90-degree angle, and imagine I'm like looking into the corner of a box in front of me, and that puts me on a tilt plane here, and then shift, and puts me on the tilt plane over here. And again, native thumb up, non-native pinky up. Now, so here we go. Here to here. Ultimately, of course, the goal would be to, in horizontal, it should be possible to turn all the way around like that, which works out nicely. But in horizontal, or in doing this wheel one, if I'm facing to the side of it, then my hand posture is going to be upside down when I try and continue all the way around. So if I'm running wheel plane arm path this way, I'm going to struggle getting this pinky to flip over to be able to continue like this. But it shouldn't be as much of an issue in the future when I start doing this one. And the way that I'm learning how, or that's come to my awareness on like why this works, and something I don't know if I'm going to be able to show off, but if you notice, I'm in palm up in this orientation of butterfly, and now I'm in palm down. Palm up, palm down, palm up, palm down, palm up, palm down. And nothing changes. If I pull my grip in and I really try and pull and bend the plane, I can start shifting through all of my atomic orientations. But the fact that if I can keep a loose grip, I can turn my hand freely inside of it, makes for a really weird thing, because it opens up the possibility for being able to do all of these planar shifts where you're staying in alignment with what the poi want to do, not what you are trying to make them do. And so this is where the toroid piece of it, or the harmonic piece of it, comes in, which is that I was able to figure out this beauty, which you may or may not be able to see, which is I'm on the tilt plane inside of butterfly here, mountain. I'm going to bounce up, across, over, down, and up. There's a better one. And that is a very sloppy pentagram toroid, but only the first half of it, because when I reach this last moment right here at the corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then starting over, when I hit that last corner is where I should be repeating the pattern on the opposite direction. And so every place that I am pulling through the first round of it should be push on the second round of it. And the way that I'm going to be able to get away with that, I know, is by using that wrist twist, where as long as I'm able to twist my wrist into each of the individual positions, by the time that it revolves the second time, especially because it's an odd number, I should be getting a pull in every place that I would have pushed, and a push in every place I would have pulled. And then, of course, the greater goal right now for me is to figure out the trefoil, or the three-phase harmonics, by being able to take this op here, switch into this direction, and then pop and pull and get that one into the horizontal, which is proving exceptionally difficult, but should run all the same rules. So that shift first, this shift second, this shift third, and by the time that I'm on this side again, I should be in the opposite direction of where I started. By the time that I can run that as a continuous little ditty, oh, it's on. It's on. Thanks for joining me. These are the Meteor Memoirs.